Yeah, you want to do it?
Welcome to Roast Mortem Cast. I'm your host, Mike, and followed next to me is my co-hosts, Tom, Connor, and Travis.
God, that was good. You made up one word.
That was perfect.
Aside from making up a word, nice job, Mike.
Mike, I just
do the
creamed
closings at
myself.
Marshall's.
I think you have a job as a voice actor in the future.
Who do you think I sound like the most?
Howard
Regan.
Stern.
I like that. He's cool.
Yeah, it was kind of stern-like.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Mike? I think you have a future in radio. I think you have a future at working at Marshall's at some point. All income, so that's good. Guys, what's happening?
I've been eating very bad.
Okay.
Is this a new development?
I kind of
Yeah, what?
relapsed. I don't know what happened, but I just been just on a pile of garbage lately.
Okay. Describe your diet today.
Today I had 2 everything bagels with butter with Arizona fruit snacks.
Oh, I saw you
Red Bull.
dribbling them on top.
And
A
a,
little
Red,
Caesar.
and a Red Bull.
I'm just saying, Mike, I'm glad you had your fruit in there.
Yeah, I had to get a little bit of, it was green tea as well, so it was, ginseng honey was in there.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, but I ate Domino's on Saturday, and I thought I was having a heart attack like an hour after.
This is a history
I felt
show.
I was about to go to the hospital. Yeah, anyway, Tom, how was your week?
Thanks for turning that around.
Because
Let's go across. Let's go across the pond first. Travis, all the way from England. How are you?
Oh, yeah, all the way across the pond that is America. I'm doing all right. Getting ready to come back to New York.
Ugh.
Because Portland's burning. Not right now. I mean, it just usually is.
Right. All those homolos setting things on fire.
Let's see. I mean, I really didn't do much. I bought some more fancy clothes. I've been on a fancy clothes kick.
What'd you get?
I just got some nice Brooks Brothers clothes. I'm just trying to look like I own a yacht,
gentleman.
but I don't own a yacht.
You could own a yacht. I mean, it might be small.
No, but see, I want like a big yacht.
That's a lot of work, though. You
A
maintain
big
it.
yacht.
Yeah, don't you know you have to work a lot of hours to get that?
Yeah, I feel like people that own yachts are the hardest workers in the country,
They
right?
sure are. Yeah,
That's
look at those
true.
people who put in endless hours of work at their definitely per hour job.
That's
Yeah.
why every U.S. senator has a yacht, is because they're the hardest working people of all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They run
Think
the
Guess
No
what they
one
wear?
works harder than the U.S. Senate.
Guess what
It's
they
true.
wear? They wear Brooks Brothers clothing. And that's why I'm going to start wearing Brooks Brothers, because I want to be your local representative. Where do you live? You live in Iowa. Where do you live? You live in Washington, D.C. I'm going to be your boy.
I don't know
You're
if it
gonna
works
say,
like
what
that,
do my
but
constituents want? They want to use Cheez-Its like cereal.
that's
and-
good. Oh, sorry, Connor. What
I
were you
was going
saying?
to say, and they should. That'd probably be
Yeah,
taste pretty good.
that would.
That's
Yeah.
fucking disturbing, Travis. Don't ever say cheeses and cereal ever again.
Connor, as one of my constituents, would you put milk and Cheez-Its together in a bowl and eat it? How was your
You know
week?
you'd eat it.
No,
Mike would eat it.
don't need that. Cheeses need to be. You need like a soda next to a Cheez-It.
You want a soda with everything.
Yeah.
Put the soda in the Cheez-Its, and then there's your
And
cereal.
they get all soggy and they float to the top.
Yeah.
Ain't the same. I've tried.
Connor, how was your week? Reiterating
Uh,
what Travis said.
My week was exhausting, I'll say. As we talked about last time, many of our family members, including my wife, Tom's sister, has COVID.
Yeah.
So, we had to spend a week in isolation. That just happened to be our anniversary, which was
Oh,
tough, let's
Yeah.
say.
A weird congrats to you.
A very strange first anniversary.
Hey, you made it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the hardest one's the first one.
Yeah. So a couple more days of COVID quarantining, and then we should be good.
what
Good.
traditionally are you supposed to get on your first anniversary? Is it like one of those the
I
COVID masks?
learned it's the paper anniversary. So I
Very-
got Lizzie crossword books and a day planner.
Oh,
She
There
likes
you go.
planning.
Yeah.
that's nice. Oh,
Very
we
kind.
both love crosswords. So
Did you fill out any of the crosswords before you gave it to her?
no,
Made it
she'd get
look
mad
too
at me
good.
if I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, try it out next time.
I'll just fill them out while she's sleeping.
Just
Yeah.
put 69 over all the bubbles. Chicks.
That works. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Tom, how's your week?
thank you. I had a week, but more importantly, I had a evening just before we started recording. We came outside here. We're set up outside in Barbados
Beautiful
live
place.
as we've been doing. A couple raccoons were out here.
My
I-
boys.
Yeah. Well, guess what, Travis? Your boys done eat my woman's fish.
What?
And yeah, she's got a koi pond.
What do you mean they ate them? Do you mean that they
I caught one.
They serviced the fish?
Sushi was on the menu for these raccoons.
I caught one of these dirty pricks in the pond, the man-made pond, eating the fish. Got to broom this bitch away.
Tom, if someone dropped a whole bunch, like a case full of Coors Light, it's fresh, it's the sweating from how cold it is, you're not going to go in and grab one? These are boys!
They're not boys. They're fucking disgusting animals, and I hope them all extinction.
How could you call them disgusting animals? They got human hands.
They do have human hands.
That's
It makes them
yes,
very
yeah.
cute.
Hello? A lot of humans are disgusting. What are you
true.
saying?
An animal that shows human characteristics is cute.
But
Humans are gross.
no matter
Point
what.
blank.
Yeah. All right. Well, either way, that's how I'm going. I would be louder, but we are outside, and I have had the cops called on me.
Well,
I'm sitting back here yelling
Really?
without doing a podcast.
At the raccoons or at?
Myself.
Okay.
I
I'm
hope the
yelling into a
boys-
bottle.
I hope the boys stop by again for the show.
That'd be cool.
Well, actually, there's a trap set for two of them, 2 traps. And when they are caught, they will be caught. We'll be driving them to the highest point of Long Island and throwing them off the edge.
That's not very high, so they'll
Well,
be safe.
It's
Probably.
Jane's Hill. It's also kind of a mound. There's no edge to throw
Yeah.
them off of.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
them
Look,
down.
I'm not going to kill these things, but god damn it. God damn it.
Can you eat raccoons?
Yeah. Do you want to? You want to try?
I'll try it.
I'll catch you one.
I'm not really-
I'll harpoon one for you.
Yeah.
I don't
it's
like
less of a-
this talk about the majestic boys. These are my boys.
I hate your boys. I hate your fucking boys.
Circle of life, Travis. You got to eat everything. We got to eat stuff. All right?
So we have to eat these raccoons.
I got it.
Even though we have a
Mike, you just said how bad your diet's been. Don't start eating
Well,
raccoons.
This is a little change.
Just a
Raccoons
little
eat
one.
garbage. You don't want to eat them, dude.
yeah. Well, these fish weren't garbage. They were rather nice. Look. why
Speaking
don't
of
we-
eating garbage, let's go to England.
Thank you.
Good day, mate.
Yeah. Chopping block time. You guys, well, maybe you don't know it. I think I mentioned it last week. Last week we roasted Henry II of England, Daddy Henry. So in case you
Henry.
missed it, you should probably go back, have a listen. If not, you're dumb. Keep listening because it's still going to be fun.
You heard it here first. You heard a lot of things here first.
You do.
This has been a mess.
It's the only place I talk about my week.
Yeah,
I hear
true.
my week every week.
You're always pent up with a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I've been getting those Venmo payments from you. This is your therapy session.
Yes. Then I feel a lot better about myself since I've been listening to Roast Mortem. I was a very
Good spot.
very introverted individual, and I feel like this show has really brought out the best in me.
All right, well, shut up. We're going to start doing this English guy.
Yeah, laser
Good
flip.
night. Let's
Shut
go.
the fuck up, Mike.
Tonight we are roasting Henry's successor, asshole son, Richard the
Oh, Dick.
Lionheart.
Old
Dick Hart. I like that.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Dick Hart. Old Dick Hart.
I hate
yeah,
the name Richard.
it's
man.
Dick Hart, but also like a lion's dick is barbed. So if he is the dick of a lion, it's gonna be a barbed penis in a heart.
That's sick.
Based
want
off your
that-
research, do you think he had a barbed dick?
From my research, he had a barbed dick, and his urethra was very wavy.
Ooh.
Like, life is a highway, I'm riding all night long. That's the
long.
sperm leaving it.
Okay, okay.
Flying out of it.
Good visuals.
So
Nice.
Henry II was like a middle of the road monarch for like English nobility. People like him, you know, some people don't like him. I don't know. There's nothing that's special. Richard is regarded for some strange reason as England's one of the most cherished kings they ever had. Richard's banner can still be proudly seen and worn during probably on one of the most important uniforms of the British Empire today, and that is their World Cup kits.
Really?
Three
Yes.
lions.
It's
Oh,
the
that
three
shit?
the three
Oh.
roadkill lions stacked on top
Oh,
of each
that-
other.
Yeah, they're like,
Hmm,
they're like that.
doing that.
Yeah, they're real.
It is-
real weird looking lions.
It's an audio thing. You did it right.
did it
Just
right,
for
but
those
it's
at
audio.
home, but it is
Yeah.
audio.
The English love Richard I, Richard the Lionheart. He is their Crusader king. The British like to see themselves as knights and warriors. And the problem is, Richard, for all intents and purposes, was French.
Oh, no way.
And
That's fun.
yeah, if you remember last week, Richard became the Duke of Aquitaine, which is in France, and he was very close with his mother, Eleanor of Aquitaine. In fact, most historians think that he didn't even know how to speak English. He just spoke French and Octian.
Octian.
Wow.
The fuck is Octian?
That's
A weird version of French and English combined.
I think it's like French and Basque.
Oh,
Basque is like
the Basque country.
you don't know what Basque is? It's like Spanish, Catalan-ish.
The border of Spain and France
Yeah.
is like traditional Basque region.
Yeah, it's
Now
like,
it's mostly almost all in Spain. Well, I think it is all in Spain.
Is it still
now.
spoken today? Is Basque?
Basque is still spoken. Basque.
But it's similar to Spanish, if I
Yeah,
understand. Yeah.
It's still spoken. It's
It's like a
closer to
regional thing?
Catalan, I think, than Spanish.
Right. And Catalan's pretty close to Spanish.
Yeah.
It's a
all-
second tier.
Yeah. It's all
Of-
that like regional languages
yeah.
of northern Spain, southern France.
Okay.
Only thing you have to know is it's not English, so it's treacherous.
Mike,
Fair
if you could imagine to be going into like a Baskin Robbins / Dunkin' Donuts and getting a donut and then getting a scoop of ice cream on it, it's a little mix.
I like that. I
Um,
could get down with that.
I don't know. I think the rates of diabetes are much higher in England than they are in that area.
Do you think you could do that at a Baskin Robbins Dunkin' Donuts combo?
You find a cool
Get-
employee. Yeah.
Like, be like, hey, can I get 2 scoops of this on top of a donut?
if
'Cause
I
that
worked there,
sounds
yeah.
delicious.
I would,
Yeah,
yeah,
you-
if I worked there, yeah.
It'll probably be just the
I'd hook
cost
you
of the donut plus
Yeah.
one hit of
Yeah.
your vape.
I'd like to get a sponsorship from Dunkin' Donuts from this podcast if we could.
I don't know. I think I flushed that down the toilet a long time
You're
ago.
talking shit
I got
about-
kicked out of a bunch of them.
We're
All
still
right,
waiting
sorry,
for
Travis.
Red Lobster.
He
to
doesn't
get back.
speak English.
He doesn't speak English. He speaks French. And also, out of Richard's 10 years rule of England, he only spent 6 months in England.
I like that. Hands off guy.
So I don't know, for whatever reason, the English love Richard.
probably
Maybe
liked
just
him.
because he's a cool night boy, but he's not really English.
All right.
So we're gonna pick up where we left off with Henry II dying. He surrenders to his rebellious son Richard and Philip II of France, or Philip II Augustine of France.
I like that name, Augustine.
But before we do, I just want to catch up on Richard's life because there's a lot of stuff I mentioned leading up to his coronation that I purposely didn't mention in the last episode. Some weird little tidbits. So Richard was born September 8th, 1157 in Oxford, England, to Henry I and Eleanor of Aquitaine. He was, just as a reminder, he was a second son. So it went in this order from oldest to youngest. Young Henry, Richard, Geoffrey, and John.
Can you remind us of what happened with Henry again?
So Henry, he fought his dad, and then he drank the poopy water and got
Yeah.
dysentery and died.
And I'm happy for
Poop
him
disease, yeah.
Yeah.
because he went out on top.
And Geoffrey got trampled by a horse during a tournament.
Oh, right.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was
So
good.
in our story now, Richard and John are the only legitimate
Heirs.
sons of the royal family here.
So you said he was born in Oxford, but only spent 6 months in England his whole life. Was it the first 6 months of his life?
So he spent a little bit more time in England in total. He spent 6 months of his 10-year rule.
Ah, right.
So,
right.
like,
Okay.
what from his coronation till his death,
Till
he
his
only
death,
spent
okay.
6 months. But I think at the age of 8, he was moved to France, and he didn't spend much time in England.
Okay.
So here's a little tidbit. If you can put Mike Rowe in this position, because this is one of the most dangerous jobs in the Middle Ages. Can you guess what one of the most dangerous jobs in the Middle Ages was?
Mike.
Mortician.
And picture Mike Rowe doing this.
It's a good guess.
It's not
Mortician?
mortician?
It's not
'Cause
mortician?
you had the,
No.
dead bodies and plague and shit.
Nope.
Prostitute?
It would be
I don't know.
a royal wet nurse.
Oh.
What does that mean?
Wait, why is that so dangerous? I feel like that's...
Well, okay, so if you don't know this, Mike, back in the day, your nurse wouldn't, or nanny wouldn't just watch the baby. They'd like suck the titties,
Oh, breastfeed. Okay.
breastfeed. Yeah.
Okay.
So if anything wrong happened to the baby of a royal family, and remember, at this time, I think Connor, last episode, you talked about one of the reasons why the average age is so low for the Middle Ages because infant mortality and children mortality was so high.
Mm-hmm.
So if
Travis.
anything went wrong with the kid, dem titties get blamed.
Oh,
well-
something in the milk.
Yeah.
Right.
I got something to tell you, Travis. That's not. What about the food tester for the king? Weren't they always getting poisoned back in the day? Wasn't there a tester that would test the food for poison?
I would assume the wet nurse would have much higher stakes because,
Yeah.
they could do everything right.
Yeah.
and
And still fuck
because you're nursing inbreeding retards
because the
to begin
poison
with.
taster, you do your job perfectly up until the moment
Okay,
you're dead,
true.
Right.
and then you've really done your job well.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also, if you're going to do
All right,
your
that makes
job
sense.
well, the royal child would always suck from the wet nurse's right titty because it was as seen as the healthier one.
Well, that's dumb.
So if they had
Wait.
their kid be sucking from the left tit and the royal from the
Her
right.
her right, or
Steaming
like
tit.
facing her right.
I think her right.
Okay. Good question.
You never know. Could be stage right.
I mean, depends on how much these little royal babies objectify women.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably a lot back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, wench.
How can you not?
So, wet nurses aside, Eleanor was actually Richard's mom. Eleanor was actually a very hands-on mom, specifically with Richard. Remember, Eleanor was like a exception in the Middle Ages. She did pretty much everything different than the average woman in the Middle Ages. She had power, and But so she was like, "Yeah, I'm the mom," and everyone's paying attention to, young Henry. But no one's paying attention to Richard. And Richard's going to be the Duke of Normandy and all these French territories. So I'm going to bring him to France.
Nice. I need him to be a good duke. Come on, boys. Get
Yeah.
this duke going.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, it's good that you went out of her way to pat this little kid on the head and make sure that he got the little orange slices at soccer games.
Yeah. It's nice of her to play favorites with her kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the age of 8, him and his mom go off to France. He becomes the Duke of Aquitaine. And he was so French, in fact, that Richard was knighted by the King Louis VII, not his father or anyone in,
England.
I guess Scotland, or his father was actually knighted by the Scottish king. So
None of this makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there if you're confused.
I'm following very intensely.
Yeah, Mike's got this.
I got this.
So as I also mentioned in the last episode, Richard's brothers, young Henry and Geoffrey, were both pansy tournament boys. They like playing with horses. They like going to Ren fairs and shit like that.
Okay.
Richard quickly became a warlord while he was fighting contested Angevin France. And I mean, Richard was a whopping 6'5", while young Henry was 5'5". So there was like a reason that Richard was like
Joe Rogan
fucking
syndrome.
scary motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
6'5" for an English guy. Wow.
Back then, too.
That's tall.
Yeah.
People were short back then.
Yeah.
You play basketball, man?
You hoop?
It hasn't been
Shit,
invented.
why are
yet.
you king? You should be hooping.
Uh-oh. Sorry, I ashed on the table.
Oh wait,
It's
also,
fine, Mike.
I remembered something else. I'm talking about fancy clothes. I went to go get a dress shirt. I tried on Shaq's. Shaq has a line of big and tall men's dress shirts.
Oh.
Was it perfect?
The I guess it was meant for a taller or bigger person than me because the pocket was below my nipple.
It was a little flowing.
I had like a
I
Joey
mean,
pouch.
Look, man, you're losing a lot of weight
Hey, look at
really
skinny
quick,
Travis.
man.
What the
Thanks,
fuck?
Doc.
We're not going to be able to make fun of you much longer.
Look very
And
thin.
you're not going to be able to identify as a fatty.
Well, Mike
You're-
said my glasses look like I'm a rapist, so there's plenty
I
of
did
weird
not
things to
say
make
that.
fun of me.
Yeah.
I mean, the good and the rapist in the good way.
Like a fun rapist.
Like date rape.
Jeez, thanks, Mike. Real asshole.
What do you mean?
So, where do you live? That's the first question you ask on dates. Hey, so where do you live?
Are you close to your family? and
How many friends do you have?
Yeah, I guess your phone.
When's the last time you talked to your dad?
So let's talk about another.
Yeah, when's the
asshole.
last time Richard talked to his dad?
Yeah,
the beach,
so
Richard?
Richard's moniker became Richard Octi-Non, which is Octian
Dick non.
for Richard Yes and No. And this is because he was not a very funny guy, and he would just respond with a simple yes or no.
I just asked you what color you like, Richard.
Yes.
You
Yes.
dumbass.
Yes.
Richard,
They use dick back then?
what's that?
They what?
Use dick? Like, you call Richard Dick? Like, use the word dick?
Well, he didn't speak English, so.
oh, yeah. It is. What's dick in French mean?
Uh,
I was going to say baguette, but.
yeah,
I think it's a failed production company. Dick.
Dick.
Remember those?
Dick Sporting Goods?
Yeah,
That's
that
where
was
we got
that
Dick
was
Sporting Goods
what was Inspector Gadget. Dick.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
You know what I'm talking
I know
about.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
This is right before the show would start. Or, I mean, it was after. I know you're talking
It's after.
about. After.
It's
yeah.
it's the production bumper.
Yeah.
All right, continue.
So
Love Dick.
Richard,
So yes or no? Let's just call him that.
yes
Richard,
or no?
yes or no?
Richard's father, Henry II, never really liked him, and he actually got the worst punishment out of all of his brothers when all of his brothers rebelled against his father. Henry made him attack the nobles that aligned with Richard in France, and he had them completely raze their castles to the ground. Richard
That doesn't make sense, but it's a daunting task nonetheless.
Well, he's like, "Oh, your friends didn't like me either. Go fuck up their houses."
I don't wanna.
Yes. Yes. No. Yes.
Richard was called a straight up butcher by most people, because
He is the best rapper.
He's dull.
not only was he a best rapper, he was best raper, because he got an army of mercenaries. So if you know anything about mercenaries, they're not usually very nice. We have a group of them called Blackwater, or we did until they changed their name to, I don't know, Deke.
ISIL.
Is that well?
That's a new company.
It's a new company. We paid a lot of money for them, and we forgot to turn it on.
Yeah.
Now, the records are pretty vague, with some exceptions of the nobles complaining about Richard taking their noble ladies, and after he was done with them, passing them off to the boys, which is completely psychotic.
Ain't no fun if the homies can't get none. Snoop Dogg. You like that? You guys know that song.
I do know that song.
Yeah. I think he's turning these nobes into hoes.
Yeah. I mean, that you think of, the times being more brutal, and I'm sure that shit happened a lot, which is terrible, but it didn't normally happen to noble women.
Yeah, but sometimes when you got,
Yeah.
you got it. Do you hear me, Slim?
Slim Shaggy.
Yes.
No.
No. Maybe so.
Yep.
Was there ever a maybe from him? Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm actually doing the research for our next roast after Travis's following one to this, and I have never read so many words that were hoe and bitch.
Oh, is this the pimp?
And yeah. It doesn't matter. I don't care about keeping it a surprise anymore. But I'm almost shocked. I'm shocked.
You're shocked.
I'm reading
Tom?
all these bad words.
You're shocked. I couldn't believe you'd be shocked at anyone.
Well, not really that shocked, but
So during these retaliation sieges that his father told him to do, Richard got his nickname Lionheart for his courage during this 2-month siege of Castillon-sur-Agen in 1175. Basically, he used himself as bait. He camped right outside the castle walls, and he was like, "Yo, you want to kill me?" And like all the defenders came out of the castle walls, and he had this like secret flank, and they just like, "Oh, lol, the door's open."
Ooh, a little bait boy.
Little bait boy.
Bait boy, you want some of this back pussy?
You want some of this?
Come on out, boys.
Yes.
All right, and just to catch us up back to where we left off. Bing bang boom. Young Henry drinks the doo-doo water. Joffrey gets trampled by a horse, and Henry gets whooped by Richard and King Philip and dies 2 days later. Let's go into Richard's coronation and jolly old London.
Yeah.
All right, bruv.
London.
Yes.
Rob.
Fit and shit.
Yeah.
All right, in it. So the coronation, and it was 1189. That's a really bad accent.
That's one of the worst on the show.
You sound like Liam Gallagher from Oasis.
All right, I'll do it again.
Mike,
So the coronation was on 11.
that was a great Indonesian accent.
That was an American accent.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow. Continue.
White American accent.
That's a white guy talking. Get used to it, people. We're back.
Oh,
So during Richard's coronation in 1189 at Westminster Abbey, there was this tradition, right? And, they have this big old fancy thing where they put the crown on his head in Westminster Abbey. The tradition states no Jews or women allowed in the coronation.
Damn straight.
All right. That's
Sorry, Tom.
Now,
it's expected.
Tom, you can put your left side of your body in.
Yeah. I want to see your right tit only, Tom.
I can pass for a Christian.
yeah,
No, I
there
can't.
was a few Jews that were like, you know what? this Richard guy, let's get off to the right foot. We're going to like show up to the coronation with a present, maybe some brisket. He's going to love it. He's going to love it.
Gelt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he shows up, and Richard's courtiers, they open the door. These Jews open the door, and the courtiers are like, is that gefilte fish? Because it smells really bad. Gotta get you out.
Shut up.
Don't insult Tom's favorite dish.
Here's the gelt. It's money you can eat if you choose to do so.
So these few Jews were flogged and then thrown out of the abbey. Now, a bunch of Cockney dickheads saw this and were like, Richard must have ordered us to attack all the Jews in London.
All right, bruv.
Okay.
All right, bro. So a lynch mob quickly formed in London, burning all the Jewish houses and killing and forcing Jews to convert to Christianity.
Gotta get down with the crown, you know what I mean?
Only the strong survive. You know what I mean?
Somehow, like the how fast this spread throughout England, it was like Twitter existed back then, because all of a sudden,
It's a hot
like,
goss.
Within days,
Hashtag Jews are canceled.
yeah, within days, all of these British fuckheads started canceling Jews up and down England into the north and York.
Okay, but it's not like anyone had to make an argument. Like, that people with a little extra time or money would go out of their way to make a Jew-killing weapon for fun. So it's kind of like, time to use the weapon that you've been sitting on.
Yeah. I've been sharpening this spear for
a while,
yeah.
6 years now.
Yeah, there's stars of David's in it and crosses through those and just like ready to go. It's not like he has to convince people.
Yeah, and the Pope has told people if you kill non-believers, you go to heaven.
It's true. I want to get
Also, Richard never ordered this. Like, literally, it was just some people out on the streets that saw, like, these Jews getting kicked out.
I'm pretty sure anytime between, like, 800 and 1900 in Europe, 1945 in Europe, pogroms would happen at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, they'd see a hat drop and be like, oh, guess we got to kill the Jews.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that he ordered it. It could have been word of mouth that he ordered it and totally made up. Like you said, a couple Cockney guys going, oh, you told I should kill all the Jews, mate. You hear me? And then, like, it just happens.
I'm
Because they're witches.
So, the low point of these massacres occurred in York, in England, where 150 Jews were locked in Clifford's Tower and burnt alive.
Oh, God.
They actually still talk about this massacre today in York. I went there. One of my friends is from there. And that was like, I guess, like a tourist attraction. Like, not a happy
Let's
one.
check it out.
Well, you know the old saying, tragedy plus time equals tourist attraction.
Yeah.
I never heard that, but I've never heard anything more true in my life.
It kind of works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Richard sees what's happening. He's like, whoa, you English pig dogs. Stop attacking the Jews. And he's like, no, really, guys, stop. Like, I didn't order this at all. And he actually does his best to stop people from, like, hanging Jewish people and burning them alive.
Okay.
And eventually it subsides. And it goes back to just casually hating Jews because they have all the money.
Right.
Yeah.
Understandable. The other thing is wild. Don't do that.
Yeah. Don't
Never.
go crazy, guys.
Yeah.
Just hate them.
Just hate them.
Quietly.
If we're all going to heaven, what's the big deal? You just wait it out.
Yeah.
You know? That's what I never got. These people are like, fucking, just wait to go to heaven. Have a good time up there.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Jam out with your clam out with Jesus.
Turns out that only Jews go to heaven. Jews and dogs.
I gotta kill the
Well,
Jews.
it sure seems like this will be the last.
That sounds anti-Semitic, Tom.
What?
Jews,
No, you're
only
very-
Jews
yeah,
and
come
dogs
on.
go to heaven.
Yeah, well, one's a movie and one's the chosen people. So I don't know why that's anti-Semitic.
This is a family podcast, Tom. Come on.
It is.
Please.
Okay,
All
so
dogs go
let's
to heaven. Bad movie.
I'm guessing this is the last of the interreligious conflicts we're gonna have, right? There's no way we could see more religious conflict coming in this episode.
You want to enter the third fucking challenger? You want Falco to come in, right? We had Fox, and now we're getting Falco coming in. New challenger.
Give me the
F-Zero?
new fighter.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
going to
so-
F-Zero after this?
So let's talk about the world that was happening when King Richard became the King of England. So the Christians were in the Third Crusade in the Holy Land, which was the Return of the Jedi of Crusades. It was kind of not good. I mean,
All
none
right.
of them were good.
Yeah, I mean,
Star Wars isn't good.
Yeah, no.
take
Star
that
Wars
back,
is
Tom.
not
Take
very
that back.
No, Rogue One's good.
What's that?
That's like the one spin-off movie.
The
I
original
saw that
6.
That one's good.
I'm an original 6 guy. I'm sorry.
good. No,
Original 6. Third
the
one.
only good one
best
is the
one.
Christmas Ewok special. If you have Disney Plus,
No,
watch that.
don't listen to Travis.
I don't know.
Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
So good.
So
I hate you.
All right.
things were not looking too good for the Christians at the moment during this crusade
Mm.
in the modern day Middle East, like
What,
modern day Israel.
They were losing the thought war.
Yeah.
This was far beyond the thought war.
It's Believe War.
Well,
Yeah.
well, you think it and you believe it. It's kind of the
Yeah,
same shit.
Sure, I guess you're right.
So the Muslims, or as they called them, Saracens, had this unstoppable force by a man named Saladin. He's a really super interesting guy. Probably the world's
Love this guy.
probably the world's greatest generals, military minds of all time, and maybe we'll come back to him. But for now, we're just gonna stick with like him and fucking Richard.
Yeah.
So Saladin had captured Jerusalem for the Palestinians, which what is that sentence I wrote here?
What?
Not so much the Palestinians either. More just the
So
Arab world.
unprofessional.
Well,
Because
I
he
mean,
was
from the
a
from the
Kurd
source
working for the Egyptians.
from the sources that I read, the particular tribes in that area were Palestinians.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It could have just been that this person was anti-Zionist, but I don't know. That wrote the book. I don't know. But yeah, in particular, it said that like the tribe in the area was called the Palestinians back then.
Okay.
Saladin controlled a Muslim force that was like, it was the same thing as the Christians. So it was like all of the Muslim nations. So like Egyptians and Persians and all this stuff. Turks.
Good for them.
So Saladin had recaptured Jerusalem only 2 years before Richard was crowned. And interestingly, the Arabs at the time were... I don't want to say that. Never mind. That was a bad sentence. I was going to say that they were more tolerant and more enlightened, but that makes it...
Well, no, but they were. I
Well,
mean,
are you gonna say that they're enlightened now?
they were way more chill than the Christians back then.
They throw acid on people's faces
We're talking
today.
about back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Arabs were way more tolerant than Christians.
I fucking believe it.
yeah.
I totally believe it because one of them had an inquisition and another one didn't.
Yeah, okay. So I just didn't want to come out like I was being like,
Travis, you go out of your way to bash Christians all the time. You can bash Muslims too. It doesn't matter. None of this matters.
Well, Saladin and his Muslims were actually way more progressive in terms of science, and were kind of leading the world forward.
Oh, wow.
And the Christians were very
Baghdad is like
barbaric.
the center of
time.
all world learning.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
And now look at them.
Rubble.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Fuck you, Genghis Khan. Who
Yeah.
caused all that.
Change that shit. Now
Yeah.
they're out there, Ayatollah, filling their swimming pools with bullshit. That's what they
Gravy.
do. That's what they're doing. Keeping
I
their
like
women all
gravy.
clothed like a
Mhm.
bunch of homos.
Don't look at my wife.
I don't even look at my wife.
So just to give you an idea of how barbaric the Christians were, when the Christians originally captured Jerusalem in the First Crusade in 1099, it was said that the blood in the streets was knee deep.
Damn. Dummy
And
thing.
when Saladin captured the Jerusalem, it was far less bloody. In fact, he still allowed pilgrims, Christian pilgrims in the city and all this stuff.
Yeah, he gave orders not to destroy any of the Christian places of worship.
I like this guy already.
Oh,
Yeah,
Saladin's a cool ass dude.
All right, this is good. This is good. I like a good guy in history.
Yeah.
So Richard's father, Henry II, got out of the Crusades by basically providing the Roman Catholic Church with lots and lots of money that he raised through taxes. So they didn't have like an IRS back then. It was pretty much like when the king was like, I need money. He just like made a tax.
So good luck retiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like New York City now.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Or Portland.
Or, yeah, Portland.
We have an
Guys.
artist tax,
Really?
and no one knows where it goes.
What does it even mean?
Wait,
I don't know. It's
what?
supposed to go to like artists and like that I don't know.
That's
need
the most.
money.
I hate when they try to fund new artists and stuff. I have no problem with like, all right, you want to keep your museums open, all that crap. Getting people inspired, it's like, fuck you. I don't want to
No,
see
this
that
isn't
art.
for
Garbage.
museums.
Yeah. This is for what is this for? For gay pride paintings on the walls? It's fine. I'm very tolerant to that stuff, but also, where's your tax money going?
We have a
Good
bridge.
question.
We have a bike bridge named after Ned Flanders that just opened up. So
That's pretty fucking dope.
it's actually named after Ned Flanders because all of the streets here,
are named after
apparently,
Simpsons.
in my neighborhood in particular, Matt Groening named the characters of The Simpsons off of the streets.
Oh, not the other way around. Got it.
Right. We know Simpsons have been around. When did the Simpsons start? 1922?
Yeah.
They started that? Yeah.
It's about
they
to pass
actually
out of
started-
copyright.
Right.
They started in 1199 with the First Crusade.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
when the blood was knee deep, that's when Matt Groening was like, I got an idea. Yellow people.
Well, thank God. Eat my sand shorts. All right.
Right. So Henry's like, I get out of doing the Crusades if I just pay tax. Richard ratchets up these taxes, and he mainly focuses on England and not the French to tax. And people called this tax the Saladin's tax, because it was essentially just essentially just sapped the English dry, and it was going straight into this war in the Middle East. I think as Americans, we can commiserate.
Yeah.
A forever war in the Middle East, can't relate to that.
No.
Yeah, ours just ended, so
Ours
it's like
ended.
I'm already missing it.
Yeah, I miss our forever war.
Yeah, but
God.
now we get the homophobic warlords, pedophilic warlords in America.
Oh yeah, we just opened it. Well, this is getting very politically driven. And, I'm not opposed to it, but I think history begs to differ. We should continue reading about history and then be angry later because
Yeah.
we did it all wrong.
Yes.
No
Let's
matter
read
what,
it later.
we've done it all wrong.
Yeah.
That's history's lesson.
Yeah. So during the Crusades, there were a lot of priests roaming around Europe and calling upon people to take the cross or go on crusade.
Like, fuck no.
Now, Mike, I don't know, you said you're the Gilgo Beach murderer, so the perks was essentially that all your sins would be wiped away if you had committed any
Going to hell.
crimes or anything like that. It was all wiped if
It was
you
like
became a
if you
crusader.
kill a Saracen, your path
no.
to heaven is paved.
I've read Dante's Inferno.
It's not that bad, right?
What?
Dante's Inferno.
I love that. That was one of my favorite stories.
Well, you like it, so it's fine. He's out.
That's
He's
what I
out.
mean. It's all about this shit.
He's not door dashing for God here.
So
Okay.
essentially,
I want to go down to hell and bring back my wife after I rape people.
So essentially, these Crusader armies were just composed of a bunch of ruthless murderers like Mike, skateboarding around, killing people. Like, it didn't matter because
doing it
all
for
their
God.
sins were going to be wiped.
Yeah, it's all good. Thanks, God.
Yeah. Richard became one of those people who was like, nah, I could use a clean slate.
Yeah.
And during his fights with his fathers and brothers, he had committed a lot of atrocities. And he said, hey, I got an old pal. Remember Philip II of France? We warred together. He helped me fight my dad. He helped me become king. Both of us are going to go on crusade.
A
Now,
lot of rape.
yeah.
A lot of rape during those
Lot-
crusades.
lot of rape.
Lot of rape.
We got to save these people's souls.
Yeah.
And rape them.
We gotta make more souls for the
We
world.
got to make souls that aren't damaged
Yeah.
by raping them.
So wild. So wild.
We're descendants probably of rapists. Isn't that
Oh,
great?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Not
We're all
me.
descendants of rapists and victims of rape.
Or
Yeah.
victims of rape.
I'm not
We
me,
all
man. I got.
I'm
I
only
came-
victims.
I
Sounds
come from
clean.
a line of consent.
Oh, nice.
So
Did you do 21 and me? Or those-
Yeah, I got my 23andMe back. It just said handshakes.
Consent. So Philip and Richard were like the ultimate frenemy. Now France, as we've seen, they couldn't give a shit about the
Plantagenet.
placentas. Thank you, Connor. Placentas.
The placenta gang.
Yeah, the placenta gang. That's what I'm just going to call them from now on. And so the France couldn't give a shit about these people. They just wanted their land, and they were not above playing one family member off the next, as we kind of seen with Philip's dad. So this was a really good chance, for Philip and Richard to get together. He's playing off of his dad, and on top of discussing how to get the throne, they're having a lot of gay sex, some silly sodomy.
Is that proven?
There's multiple accounts from chroniclers at the time that allude to it.
All right.
That's about as close as we're going to get to confirmation on that type of stuff.
I was hoping
Yeah.
to get some juicy details about this
Sodomy.
homoerotic sex.
No, there's no TMZ like guy sketching. Well, we actually had that for fucking Ben Franklin. Some guy like broke into his room and there was a picture of like him getting sucked off.
Oh, that was really funny,
Yeah.
actually. That was a good thing to have.
Yeah.
It's history for all of us. That's a
Yeah.
win for the world.
There's a picture of Benjamin Franklin sucked off, but
Well, no, it's someone walked in on him getting blown up by some whore. And the guy happened to be a sketch artist or something. So
Yeah.
he like left the room and then
I was
was just
gonna
like,
say,
his
I gotta
dick
draw
looked
this.
like this.
Yeah.
It's like, kind of like when those kids had to describe Michael Jackson's penis and they all got it wrong because he didn't do anything wrong.
It was all what's it called? Dry humping.
All dry humping.
Yeah.
French humping.
Oh, I was gonna say this. Who's pitching? Who's receiving?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Well,
That says a lot about dominance.
I would say just because I'm an Anglophile, I'm going to say Philip was receiving.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Respect.
Fair enough.
Just
Okay.
to make things even weirder, Richard was betrothed to Philip's sister Alice. Now, this is like back when Europeans used to do the Indian thing and be like, "Hey, we got 2 babies. Like, let's have them marry when they get older."
Oh.
Oh, are you having an arranged marriage, Mike?
No,
Are you
I'm
just-
saying. Oh, that's pretty intense.
Yeah,
There's a weird inflection on his O.
yeah, it was
Oh.
very weird.
That's all.
ooh.
You're like,
Oh, they
"Oh,
do
that
that.
is weird." Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh. Oh.
All right, enough of that.
So when
Yes,
a girl was betrothed to a young man's son or baby,
It's a hot baby.
but
out
they
there.
weren't old enough to marry because I mean, they didn't marry each other off when they were like 8, and they waited
12.
at least until 14 or something.
Yeah, wait till it's appropriate. Wait till they're teenagers.
Wait until they're emotionally mature enough
Yeah.
to be involved in a lifelong relationship.
So 13?
13.
Yeah.
13.
I missed the gun on that one.
So before they're of age to marry, the girl usually becomes the ward of the to-be husband's father. So in this case, Alice was with Henry II while he was alive. Alice grew some titties. King Henry II liked those titties, and so Henry started banging his son's bride-to-be.
Nice.
All while Richard was banging his bride's brother.
This is very telling of
Yeah.
the modern pornography industry
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Very scary.
It's
Now I know-
It's deep in our brains.
Now I know where
Yeah.
it comes from.
Yeah.
So the thing was
The
like
penis.
this marriage was like a running medieval joke because it just kept getting pushed and pushed further back. Like they were of age at this point, and like they had been betrothed. I think in total it was like 20 years or something like that.
Oh my god.
And it just kept being like, "Oh yeah, I'll get around to marry her, but I got to do this crusade first," or like my dad's fighting me, or whatever. Like,
Yeah, sure.
It's-
I gotta get married, but first, me and your brother got to go run off to to the beaches of Greece.
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean,
On our way
also
to the Middle
Yeah,
East.
also Philip like took it, even though he's banging Philip. Philip was offended that he wasn't marrying his sister. He's like, "What? She's not good enough? You just want this bussy, dog?"
yeah, you got to. I mean, the anger probably made better sex.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The two of these dudes, one of them's mad, the other one's all violent.
Do you think that was like their post-coital talk? Was like, why aren't you marrying my sister yet?
It's probably the pre. They're probably preing together, and then afterwards they forgot. They're like, women? What?
Why are we fighting? Let's
Yeah.
go fight the Saracens.
So yeah, while Richard and Philip were reenacting Adam and Eve, where Richard's dick was the snake and Philip's Adam's apple was the forbidden apple in the tree. Both of them was like, "This is really fun, but we're gonna burn in hell, so we both should take this pledge to take the cross.
Having too much
Right.
gay sex, gotta kill and rape people now.
Yep.
Gotta get clean.
We gotta go kill the non-believers
Yeah, you gotta get
so we
clean.
can get in heaven because we've been fucking each other.
Man,
Yeah.
I sucked a lot of dick this week.
Yeah, all the-
kill some fucking Muslims.
Damn.
All that ass blasting was probably going to make God real angry. So they're like, we're going to take the cross. The deal is, when we go there, we're still bros. So we're going to split all of the plunder, anything we like, any lands we take or any gold we get or whatever, prisoners, we're going to split everything even. So,
Nice, I like that.
what's that?
Who did the heavy lifting?
What's that?
Who did the heavy lifting?
We're going to find out.
Oh.
Tease.
So Richard was already sick after a few months of these dumb English people burning Jews, and he's like, these people are retarded. So he sends he talks to his dad's old pal, this dude named William Longchamp,
Oh.
longest
Longchamp.
champ, you know.
Yeah. You know he's ready.
He's a
And
winner.
he's like, Longchamp, you're gonna be chancellor, so like while I'm gone, you're pretty much king. But I have a duty. Philip and I have a duty to God. We must take the cross.
Cool. Very cool.
So, like I said, if you're going to fight Muslims, you need to raise an army and you got to have money. So, on top of the Saladin tax, as I said, mainly focused on England, Richard didn't give two shits about taking the English barons' money. And he famously said that he would happily sell London if he could find a buyer.
Wow.
Wow. That's badass.
Well, I mean, so your favorite king, British bros, wants to sell London.
He doesn't even like you. How does that sound?
Well, it's good to know because England sold London to Russian oligarchs recently. So
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those was it Panorama Papers?
yeah,
The Pandora
the
Papers?
Pandora paper.
Hey, all of our cities are owned by the Chinese.
And and then a random Stop Asian Hate hashtag starts popping up right as they're just finishing Jack Maing the rest of the world. Oh yeah. Well, look, don't hate us. Sorry, we're here first. We worked a lot of hours.
You need that lithium, right?
Yeah. On top of trying to sell London, Richard would sell government titles to the highest bidder. Because why not?
Yeah, that's how
In
you
addition
work.
to that, he sold a lot of privileges and land to England's other rival, that maybe their like second hated rival next to France, Scotland,
That's
who
not
at
good.
the time had its own king.
Yeah, Scotland's pretty gross. So for sure.
I think Scotland is charmingly gross. They drink iron water,
Whoa.
Yeah, Scotland's
And-
less gross than England.
they golf,
Hmm.
they get in fights a lot, and they do heroin, because I've seen train
And-
spotting.
They make
Yeah.
scotch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's-
they-
That's a good movie.
I
Come
do
on.
really like Scotch. All right,
That's
never
a
mind.
brand.
They're a
Yeah,
good
come
place.
on.
So, you guys have put up a good case. I don't think Scotland's a dirty place
Yeah,
anymore.
English, they drink gin. The Scottish drink scotch.
I do like gin too. I'm also an alcoholic.
Yeah, but you prefer brown.
I do prefer brown.
Ooh,
I will
yeah.
go brown all day.
So, surprise, surprise, our next roast is going to be King John. Now,
Oh.
King John little bro John gets blamed for high tax. He was part of the old Robin Hood myth that we'll get into.
Oh.
But it really was a layup from Richard for the whole taking all the money you can from England.
Gotcha.
Great. All right, so let's go off to the Crusade. So
Ooh.
Richard and Philip set off with their armies. The problem was that they couldn't march straight to modern-day Israel because the Muslim Turks were blocking the way. So they decided, we're going to put all of these horses, all these murderous men that wanted to join the Crusade, and take them by boat and do a little cruise.
Wow.
I like
Now, yeah, if you can imagine, this is a enormous undertaking. I mean, like hundreds of ships. And you got to board all those long dogs. They had to have hay, and you got these horny, murderous men. Richard was very clear that if you act up on board, they're just going to throw you right off.
Wow. Fuck.
You know,
Fuck the poop plank.
Swim to Greece. Swim to one of the islands.
They will kill you there.
Yeah.
yeah. Speaking of Mediterranean hairy men, their first stop on their Med cruise was none other than Sicily in 1190.
Mm.
Now, the
Nice.
thing was that the previous year, King William II of Sicily had died, and his cousin, King Tancred, had taken over.
What a name.
And the issue there was that William II's wife was Queen Joan, who was Richard's sister. He actually had sisters. We just haven't mentioned them up until this point.
Well, that's because we're a history podcast, okay? Not a feminist podcast. We're not just going to make up shit so you feel better.
Hey, I like women. Don't listen to Tom.
So Tancred was like, all right, your sister Joan, I'm going to take her inheritance and imprison her. Now, he didn't know that Richard was
So
going to
good.
show up. I don't think Richard even planned on showing up. It was just like, Sicily's on the way. In fact, Philip was like, hey, Richard, if we land here, like, don't start shit with Tancred. I know he's got your sister and all of her money. Don't start shit with him. So they land there and winter there. Because back then, if you're up until fairly recently, probably the Civil War was probably the last one. The armies just didn't fight during the winter. It was just like if you're traveling or even if you're in the middle of battle, it's like winter happens and everyone's like, all right, time to get on my ski boots and go skiing.
That's why it's campaign season.
Yeah.
One day they'll just wake up, they'll be like, the sun's shining, the flowers are starting to bloom. Let's go fucking kill those guys.
I'm going to get my head ripped off.
Yeah.
But also they're
But be home by harvest. Be home by harvest, everyone.
But yeah, also they're wintering in Sicily. Like, come on, guys. Like, it's not. This isn't New England. This isn't the Battle of Bunker Hill here. You're in Sicily, dog.
Ooh, last night it dipped down to almost like 55 degrees out there. I was, Mama, you got any of that squitting pasta you like?
Now, remember, Philip's like, remember, our battle is against Saladin and the Saracens. We got to get there. And Richard's like, nah, this Tancred penis has my money and also my sister. So on top of that, all the locals, they see massive armies just like making camp like next door. Like, hey, get off my fucking lawn. And they're like, oh. But yeah, anytime a massive army just like pitches up tents next to you, it's not a very
Good sign.
welcoming sign.
Something's wrong.
Yeah.
So they start kicking off with like the murderous drunkards that Richard brought with him, and they're causing problems. So against Philip's wishes of remaining peaceful, Richard and his troops attack the city of Melissa, looting, raping, and killing in the process. Remember, because they're not the Crusade yet, so my sins ain't gonna count. They're gonna get wiped away anyway.
Right. And it's hard to kill old habits.
It's true.
Yeah.
If you're
That's true. That's
into,
very true.
taking other people's goods and beating their children over the head and
So-
stealing their wives, and by God, you're probably going to do that.
It also sounds like it's kind of like a warm up for him. Like, hey, we got a big fight coming up against the Saracens. Let's
Right.
kick some Sicilian ass.
Let's enjoy ourselves.
Let's warm up.
These people live on an island. No
Get
one's
your
ever going
arms,
to find
get your
out.
sword arms swinging. Really
Yeah, a little
get
stretch.
the blood
Yeah.
flowing.
It's in the Rotary.
It's like how like
So-
big college football teams like schedule like the tiny little school that's nearby. Just like it's a warm up.
Little
It's like
practice
we'll
game.
kill these guys 60-0, and then we'll go on to the next
I'm
one.
going to have sex with that girlfriend, and then we're going to leave here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love when the Cowboys go to the Pee Wee flag football team and fucking beat
Yeah.
those kids.
Just to get your confidence up, like a big win.
The learning experience for the kids to know that they're not good.
Yeah, learn how to
Yeah.
be paraplegic.
Learn how to die for God.
Yeah, come on.
Anyway, take us back to Sicily,
Yeah, so
where they don't have tomatoes yet, by the way.
That's crazy.
They don't have tomatoes.
That's still mind blowing to me.
They don't really have noodles either.
That's
Yeah, they don't.
fucked
This
up.
is like when they first started to get noodles.
That's
roughly.
fucking crazy to me.
So Tancred, seeing this destruction of the city of Melissa, he's like, all right, I'm going to get a truce. All right, so the truce is pretty much, I'll give you your sister, I'll pay some of her inheritance, and yeah, just leave me the fuck alone.
Good
And
deal.
in this process, Richard was like, you know what? I'm also going to make this decree, right? So I'm going to be like, instead of my little brother John, who's just a little asshole, I'm going to make my nephew Arthur of Brittany my heir. And he just like says it. And then he's like, Tancred, you're going to marry off one of your daughters to Arthur and pay the same amount of gold that you stole from Joan as dowry. And I mean,
Loophole.
Tancred really didn't have any option because Richard's got a big old army. So
Right.
he's basically getting Joan's inheritance, and then in the future, we'll get also Joan's inheritance.
Nice. I like that. Good thinker.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah,
Like
smart
I say,
guy.
our guy is smart.
Yeah, and also on top of that, he made a statement. He's like, if Arthur doesn't marry your ugly ass daughter, the gold goes to me anyway.
It's a win-win.
He's scheming.
Yeah, so it's happening. And Arthur said, hey, continue.
Yeah,
King Arthur.
he's like, hey, Tancred's too afraid to leave his stoop. See
Hey,
what I did there?
Arthur.
Is this
I
the
love
same
Hey Arthur.
Hey, Arthur.
Same Arthur that pulled the sword out?
Yeah.
The rock?
Yes, the
Nah.
art.
Oh.
Saint Arthur. You're thinking of.
Oh. Ooh.
So Richard and Philip remain in Sicily during the winter. Now there's some big tension developing between these two butt buddies. Now, first of all, Richard thought that Philip was working with Tancred, and Philip was pissed because Richard had still not married his sister, Alice. He's like, you gotta marry her soon. You're getting so much money and all this stuff. You gotta marry
Stop
her."
having sex with me and marry her.
Yeah, come on. My sister's hot. Look at her. Come on.
Yeah, and remember, Alice was Richard's dad's cum dumpster, so he wasn't really that crazy about marrying this broad.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that part.
So while he's in Sicily, he's like, fuck it. Fuck your sister. I'm going to marry this chick named Bergentria of Navarre, some Spanish broad.
Ooh.
Bergentria?
Yeah, Bergentria.
That sounds like a
Ooh.
disease.
Burgie.
Yeah,
Hey, little Burgie.
we got
Yeah, a
a
little
case of the
Burge.
Burgies.
Sounds like a beautiful woman to me.
You see these welts that the Burgie's been causing on my ass?
Now,
You caught my
Fix
Burgies?
that. Oh,
now
sorry.
Bergie had this was a diplomatic move because that's the only way people got married back then. Because Bergie's brother, also great name here, Sancho the Bold.
Oh, yeah,
Sancho
that's
the
a good
Bold.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sancho controlled the territory bordering Aquitaine in Spain. So Richard is like, I got to marry this chick because I'll get more land. Richard sends a messenger to his mom, Eleanor, who's still kicking. Remember, she lives up until like age 82, I believe, 88. So she's going to be in the next story, too.
God
Damn,
bless this
bitch.
woman.
So sends a messenger. He's like, yo, go scoop Bergie, and you two come meet us in Sicily. So at that point, once Bergie shows up in Sicily, the relationship between Philip and Richard ends, and Philip actually leaves Sicily before the new chick arrives. He's like, fuck you. I'll meet you in, the Holy Land.
I'm taking my men and we're going to go get to heaven. Have fun being over here by yourself, Richard.
You think about what you've done.
You're going to regret it.
You could be dreaming about me over there,
My
slaughtering my way to heaven.
My sister Alice is so fine, finer than my ass.
You'll be over here thinking about Burgess Meredith, your new wife.
So in 1191, Richard, his Beyonce, his sister, and his mother, they leave. Oh, no, his mother leaves. I'm sorry. It's just his Beyonce and his sister. They leave across the Mediterranean to go kill some Muslims. But a storm hits the fleet, and the ship carrying his sister and his bride would veer off course and wreck on the coast of Cyprus.
Mm.
Oh, Cypress Hill?
Yeah,
Different spelling.
This is where they smoke weed.
Not my kind of hill.
Yeah, no, you're CBD Hill. That's
Straight
where
edge.
You are.
How long have you been straight edge again?
Wow, now.
Good. Very happy for
Yeah,
you.
I've been not a fan of that stuff.
Now,
Good.
Cyprus was controlled by this idiot who was actually an escaped Byzantine convict named Isaac Kokamenos.
I like that name.
Isaac had the brilliant idea of capturing and holding Richard's sister and wife.
Good idea. I got these two finds right here.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
Now, this was not a smart idea as Richard comes to shore furious. Remember, this was a common trend within their family. His father would eat hay and rip apart his bed out of anger. Richard was the same way, just screaming no and yes.
No.
Yes and no.
No.
And eating
Yes.
my purple mattress.
So Richard comes ashore with his army. He beats the shit out of Isaac and captures Cyprus for himself and Isaac. He's like, you're coming with me, you idiot. While on Cyprus, he marries Bergie, and she's officially the Queen of England. Now, she is the only Queen of England ever to hold the title to never actually step foot on the British Isles.
Oh, wow.
I think that makes her the most honest one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
The rest of
cold
them
and wet.
seem like they are fronting.
That's what I think.
Because, hell, if I was royalty, I would not want to spend that much time in a gray place like that.
Yeah, like they have the British Virgin Islands. Just live there.
Go
It's
there.
true.
It's nice.
Just live there.
I like the clouds.
Now, Richard pulls a very 20th century American move here. So he lands he jumps into the war at the siege of Acre. Now, Acre. So Acre was under siege by Christian forces for nearly 2 years. Saladin had controlled the ports, so he could just like supply the city while they were sieged, and he was just able to hold everyone off. And Richard swoops in with this fleet of 100 ships and 8,000 men. He captures some Muslim resupply ships and blocks the harbor. So, just great timing.
Gotcha.
He comes to shore and instantly gets sick because it's the Middle East and he's a pasty Frenchman. Now, Philip, who had been there for almost a year at this point because of all these campaigns and all this shit that Richard was doing on the way there, he's like, now we almost have 40,000 men. We have sappers, which are these guys that dig tunnels underneath the wall and then blow them up with like a lot of times they would send a whole bunch of pigs because pigs are very flammable. And
poor piggies.
They would just light these pigs on fire and the heat from under the ground would break the wall down.
What? That's fucked up for the pigs, though.
Yeah. We got these sappers. We got these sappers. They're gonna blow up the wall. We got to launch this attack.
Is this where the Muslim no pork thing comes from?
No, that was already around.
All right.
Yeah. You got a double insult.
Good check there.
Yeah, they are. Then it is a double insult.
Insult.
You're
It is
right.
double.
Well, you have
Like
the pork.
smell
pork.
that and be like, what is this
Good.
haunting aroma?
Oh God, their victories smell so good.
I hate them.
So Richard's like, let's launch the battle already. Philip's like, let's launch the battle already. And Richard's like, nah, I don't feel well. I gotta wait.
I don't wanna.
Can we
I
just
was-
go without
I-
you? You're just going to be on a horse. You're not actually doing anything.
My bussy needs to be filled.
Yeah. So while Richard's recovering from his tum-tum ache, Philip realizes, he's like, whoa. Remember when I was balls deep in you and we talked about like splitting everything evenly? You captured Cyprus. So technically, half of Cyprus is mine.
Right.
And so Richard flips him the bird. He's like, no, that's mine, you idiot. You were over here. That'll be important later, but this kind of sows the seeds of even more terrible negotiations between Richard and the rest of Christendom. Richard actually, in spite of that, he sells Cyprus to a guy named Guy,
Okay.
who was the king of Jerusalem before it had fallen to the Muslims, and was the Grand Master of the Templars. The
Is
Knights
this
Templar.
Guy de Lucien?
Yes.
Yeah.
Man,
That's
Connor, you're
motherfucking
so
weirdo.
good. You're on fire right now.
This is a good the Third Crusade. I wrote a lot of papers on it in college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So, like, now I can get graded at the end.
Yeah, now we're into one of my wheelhouses.
Okay.
It's fucking research artist.
So yeah, he sells it off to Guy or Guy Fieri. He's like, you can have Cyprus. And Philip's like, fuck you, dude. After the siege is done, I'm gonna go home. I don't give a shit about recapturing Jerusalem. You could do it, whatever. Don't matter.
I killed enough Saracens that my sins are forgiven.
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
So there's this massive battle, and remember, this isn't just Richard and Philip fighting. These are like all the kings and royalty around Europe fighting, and on top of these nobility and stuff fighting, there's also holy orders. So there was the Knights Templar and the Hospitallers, which, as you can, if you could think of like a warrior monk, that's pretty much what it is. A priest that beats the shit out of people.
Oh, wow.
Didn't get enough of it at the seminary.
Yeah.
Got to head out, whoop some ass.
Yeah,
It's
they
crazy.
train on the boys, and then they take it out on the men.
It's like, let's join our hands in prayer and catch these fucking fists.
Yeah.
Wait, they did all this shit for nothing. That's like the best part.
Yeah,
Well, how do you
like
know?
made up religion. Just like bullshit. Like, it's like,
So at the time of the siege, Richard was still sick. This time with scurvy.
Not
Gotta
enough
eat those lemons.
Yeah.
Now
Word.
he did join in the siege by being carried around on a stretcher by his guards and shooting his crossbow off at people on the wall.
that's pretty
Amazing.
dope. I ain't gonna lie. Well, I like the effort.
Yeah.
and thus started the Special Olympics.
What's scurvy? Is that your balls are on fire? Like
Scurvy is when you don't have enough vitamin C.
Yeah.
It's not even vitamin C. It's specifically citrus.
Oh, it's just like
yeah, it's like fresh citrus. You're never gonna have it because you only need to eat like a lemon slice every year to ward it off.
oh
yeah, it's like a really easy thing to avoid. And I think the British like Navy was the ones who discovered that like limes were the cure.
Yeah, but they also fucked it up because I believe that their first efforts they just squeezed a bunch of limes into a barrel. And then I think it was you told me this, Travis, right? That they squeeze all the limes into a barrel, but then the citrus loses that like bit that keeps
whatever
away
you need.
Well,
Yeah.
the scurvy within like a week of being out of the fruits.
Yeah.
So they were just drinking this shit. and they were-
drinking lime juice for
Yeah.
fun.
Well, they fucked up twice actually because there was one guy like 200 or 300 years before they realized that it was like, oh, you just got to eat this fresh lemon. He started doing it and like he didn't have any sickness and everyone was like, nah, you're making it up. And it just like continued for like 300 years until they realized.
maybe that guy was right.
So
hey,
they
I'm dying, and it's probably because I always skip the fruit salad.
Yeah.
So he's got scurvy. He's shooting his crossbow.
Yeah, they take the city. Philip is Philip is like bust up there on his little stretcher. Or sorry, Richard is bust up there on his little stretcher, and Richard and Philip are on this wall, and they both fly the flags of France and England while up on top of these crumbling walls of the city. Then an Austrian duke named Leopold V comes up and he's like, "Yeah, we did it!" And he mounts his flag up next to Richard. And Richard looks at it. He like pulls it out from his stake and just chucks it off the wall into the scum and viscera below. And he's like, "Get the fuck out of here, Leo! You're a fucking dickhead."
This is my time to shine.
Yeah, that was actually Adolf Hitler's great grandfather.
That's why we had the problems we had later on.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
not good.
So Richard now had a whole bunch of Muslim prisoners because he had just taken a city. You know, not going to kill everyone. Philip, who had already fucked off back to France, had given all of his prisoners to Conrad of Montferrat, who was this northern Italian guy that wanted to become the king of Jerusalem when it was recaptured. So Richard is like, we're never going to make it to Jerusalem, the holy city, if we got all these prisoners. So he brings them out of the city, and in front of the enemy army, he had his soldiers mass execute 3,000 men, women, and children, beheading them. The executions took an entire day of just guys walking around beheading people.
That's hard work.
Yeah.
You know, the worst part about it is that there's not a single joke that comes to mind.
Yeah, it's a hard one to.
It's really, that's rough.
It's really just 3,000 people being beheaded right in front of you.
terrible.
Heads will roll.
Really bad.
Yeah.
Well, and also a lot of times I think we're like, oh, well, it was
Tuesday.
really brutal back then. But like, no, this was like,
That's
people talked
exceptionally
about this and
brutal.
we're like,
Yeah.
this is fucked.
That's Tuesday.
You
Oh.
know?
Yeah, like a beheading here and there. We get it. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, it killed the king and his
a
men.
little pogrom, whatever. But like,
Yeah.
3,000.
This is for God, though. God's okay with this.
No, because the thing is, these people were going to be slaves. And
Oh.
they could do more work for God if they were just slaves.
Well,
They
and
could've been
also
converted.
this is
God's
been
very
stupid.
converted.
forgiving.
Usually when you have prisoners, the smart move is a prisoner means money.
Yeah.
You know, you can sell it back to the other army, you know, like, so he's just like, it's going to slow us down. So let's just kill them all.
Little flare.
Prisoners back then equal ransom, which
Yeah.
we'll come back to later in the story of Richard.
So with the prisoners out of the way, Richard leads his troops in a tight formation up the coast with the Hospitallers. I think I'm saying that right. Is it the
That's one I don't even know how to pronounce.
Yeah.
It's like hospitaliers or hospitaliers. It could, yeah.
Sounds good to me, Travis.
It's the word hospital with IERS at the end of it.
I think it's
Hospitaliers.
hospitaliers.
Hospitalers. I don't know.
It
So
doesn't matter. Just call them dingbats.
yeah,
The hospital
so these,
guys.
yeah, the
ER docs.
hospital boys, they're acting as the rear guard in this tight formation. Now, this was like a really brilliant thing because they're hugging the coast and they're able to like get supplies from the ships, and they're brilliantly holding off these like Muslim attacks. They're kind of just like coming in waves on their horses. The Muslims are really big on their cavalry, so keeping that tight formation really kind of helped them get up the coast. Now they reach Arsuf, where they defeat Saladin's army. They move on to Jaffa. At this point, the hospital boys, who were getting the most amount of harassment, were like, I'm sick and tired of getting shot at by these arrows. And they break ranks and they charge at the enemy.
Okay.
So Richard quickly releases the formation and breaks it. And in turn, he turns the army around and leads an attack against the Muslims. He successfully defeats them at Jaffa. And it's this big battle. But they're one step closer to Jerusalem. So at this point, they push 12 miles till Jerusalem. The weather is getting really shitty. It's raining. There's hailstorms. I didn't even know it could hail there.
It could do anything there. It's all biblical and shit.
Yeah.
It rains frogs.
Yeah.
Bushes
True.
just light on fire after you've pruned them.
Yeah.
What are other things? Nah, I'm just kidding.
So Richard gets all the way 12 miles away from Jerusalem. And he's like, you know what? Let's not attack it. Because even if we went there, how the hell are we going to defend it? So, like, fuck this. This is stupid.
We're good. Fuck it.
Got that close to his goal. Is like, forget it.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I don't really want it.
12 miles away. And the funny thing is that the Muslim chroniclers recorded that at that point, Saladin's army, the morale was so low that Richard could have just, like, walked into Jerusalem and taken it without a fight.
See, here's that like meme where it shows the two guys using pickaxes to make tunnels, and there's one guy who's giving up, walking away, and it shows that. It's just like,
and he just-
never
You're
get
so
over here.
close. You're so
It's
close.
like a bunch of diamonds, and the other guy just going, I'm never gonna get it.
There's that,
Like,
man, that one poster
give
of the
it up.
man,
Yeah.
like, deep-throating a rattlesnake, and it says, never believe.
I never heard of that one.
Wait.
But if you could please link me to that.
You
That's
got
in my
Facebook,
gym.
Travis.
That's in your gin. Never
Never
believe. Never believe anything.
You'll never be
Believe.
disappointed if you
Never-
never believe.
Never believe in it.
So they never go to the Holy Land.
Well, they're in the Holy Land.
They're in
Well,
the
they never
Holy-
go to. That's the main Mecca, is Jerusalem, right?
Yeah, they
That's the-
want to retake
the
Jerusalem.
Mecca of the Holy Land is Mecca.
No, I was saying about like Christianity.
It's Jewish Mecca.
Yeah. there we
Christian
go.
Mecca.
Jewish
Christian Christian Mecca, and then it's Arab Jerusalem, which means third.
Yeah.
Third
It's-
place.
yeah.
for the Arabs.
This is
The
crazy.
Mecca
Muslims.
of Mecca.
And they're just like, we did enough raping.
Yeah.
And they're just heading
We don't
back.
rape at home, where it's colder.
No, but these guys are reformed now.
Oh, I don't rape anymore.
Because I think the idea is that once you kill the Muslims, you can't go back.
I'm staying.
right?
I'm
It's a
staying
little
Is it?
wishy-washy.
That's my understanding. It's kind
some
of like
of it is like it washes your past sins, but then other arguments are like, no, you're good. You killed one Saracen.
do
you're
whatever you
set.
want. Go
Yeah.
out there, have fun. I know it was an
Like, it
accident.
doesn't
I know
matter.
You
It
I know
doesn't
you
matter
tripped
what
a
you
guy
do.
by
You-
accident. He
yeah.
fell down the stairs. That wins.
I
You
mean,
can go burn down anyone's home now.
I was just in Ireland and I was driving on, and then something happened.
Oh, Matthew Broderick. No, don't worry, Matthew Broderick. It was a
Matthew.
Life
Saracen.
moves pretty fast. So you gotta stop and look around.
Don't worry, we'll cast you in the producers.
Oh, okay.
Matthew Broderick's like, you guys want to do Fifth Crusade?
In Ireland.
But, that guy, I swear, he was a Saracen.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was it. Did you see Lion King? It's like, well, that's also a sin. Okay.
I forgot he's in Lion King.
He is.
He's Simba. He's grown Simba.
Ain't that some shit.
Yeah.
Mike,
I don't
imagine
know
if
that.
you skated from your house to the brand new opening of Olive Garden in Huntington, and you got within 2 miles of it, and you're like, nah, I don't want those breadsticks.
And you
That's what's
skated
going on.
back home.
Oh my
Sick.
god. You know what? I've never been to Olive Garden, so I can never compare it to.
How have you, of all people,
Never been there.
to Olive Garden?
Mike,
Like every time it was offered to me, we're like, why are we going to Olive Garden? We should
I
just
want
go
to bring
like,
you to Olive Garden.
We're going.
I'm not going to eat
I heard it
it.
was bad.
Well, yeah, it is.
It's
Connor,
bad.
we're going, and we're gonna eat,
We're all
and we're
going.
gonna drink.
That's
And
like
we're-
Unlimited pasta and pizza and breadsticks.
It's like P.F. Chang's. Why would I go to P.F. Chang's? Just go to like a Jackie Chan's.
All right, so
Chinese
Travis, when you come home, we're going to Olive Garden. First stop.
hell yeah,
Yep.
hell yeah.
food. I want to go to
my-
Outback.
That's my
instead.
holy
Yeah,
land.
Outback.
When
Picking
I'm
you up
there,
from-
I'm family. There's a man in Olive Garden. He had a heart attack and he died from my sins.
Yeah, and he was also a Saracen. So 2 for 1.
All right, so he turns around.
He turns around. That's pretty much it for Richard in the Holy Land. He was ready to return back to France, not England because he hated that place, But he would make one last big mistake before he left. So the Crusader forces were so close to Jerusalem, there was a vote to determine who would be the Christian king when they took the city back. Now, remember that guy, Conrad Monteferrat, who was the
Italian
dude that
guy.
had all of Philip's prisoners.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was the one guy, and the other one was the guy that Richard gave Cyprus named Guy.
Guy Fieri.
That's very accurate.
Conrad wins. Conrad Monteferrat.
Right.
But 2 days after the election, returning from dinner, Conrad was stabbed to death in the middle of the street by two attackers dressed as Christian monks.
Oh,
All right. That's pretty evil.
yeah.
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 Now
Scary.
everyone turned to Richard because they're like, this guy did it. He did it. This is the man. He doesn't like that boy. And one of the attackers was tortured, and he confessed that he was hired by Richard. To make matters, if Richard can't read the room here, because only
Right.
8 days after the stabbing of Conrad, Richard sets up a marriage between his nephew, Henry II of Champagne, and Conrad's widow, who was pregnant with Conrad's baby.
Oh,
Oof. Yeah, no, he's really pushing it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
I know you're grieving the loss of your husband, who is the father of your unborn child. So here's a different child that you should marry.
Yeah.
He's 18. He has
He might be 8.
his
No, yeah,
parents
he's-
bought him a
he's
Nissan
young.
350Z.
He's got a big
Um,
fucking dick.
Real big.
He's got a big dick. Don't worry, bigger
Listen,
than
we-
your
All right,
bigger than your
deal.
dead
That's- oh, yeah, I
husband,
forgot that guy. Who was his name again? Is that one,
What's up?
Travis?
Conrad.
Conrad.
Conrad. Yeah, Conrad. The guy who was
Conrad.
stabbed to death by Captain Stabbin.
So
Conrad.
it turns out that Richard was not actually the killer.
Uh-oh.
It was the assassins.
Oh, the actual assassins.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed assassins.
Oh, Knights
The-
Templar.
No, the Hassanis or something like that. The
ha-
word
hashash-
assassin comes from these
Hashashins.
people. Yeah.
Oh.
What were they into? Just killing folks?
They were literally like into just like silently eliminating the most powerful people in the world at that time.
I like
and they were really good at it. And they had these like mountain retreats, forts that like no one could access.
Oh.
And they just caused turmoil for hundreds of years, just killing the right people.
We could
Yeah,
use those now.
Yeah.
We could use those right
Yeah.
now.
I'm gonna go into them a little bit because I think they're really cool. And this was an opportunity because I don't think there's enough information on them to really do a full roast.
I don't know if there's a single person you could find.
Yeah. So the Order of the Assassins was a real organization of Shia Muslims that lived up in the mountains in a castle called Alamut, which is in present-day Iran.
Oh.
Another name for them was the Hashashins. Supposedly, the Hashashins.
Just keep trying to say it.
Yeah, well, I'm saying it for a reason. What they would do is they get these initiates to come and smoke that dank ass hashish
Yeah.
and take them to a garden that was supposed to represent heaven, where the Grand Master would offer them more weed, alcohol, and women, and indoctrinate them into this assassin's cult.
Oh, don't twist my fucking arm.
I know.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah,
That
right.
sounds
That sounds
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you gonna load me up with whores and booze and then go to send me to Nancy Pelosi's house? Like, sure.
So these were real deal assassins, though. Up until this point, most of their hits were within the Muslim world. Nothing had ever been this high profile on like an international stage as Conrad. But often they would go undercover for years in order to make a hit on a target. So these monks that had killed Conrad were probably living in monastic orders for a while before they actually did this
Oh, wow.
job.
They were not-
sleeper cells.
Not
Yeah.
costume robberies.
No.
It's a real deal.
That's funny you say
Um,
that because I'm kind of doing that to you guys.
Are you?
Gonna kill you
Oh,
guys.
you're the Gilgo killer, right? Yeah.
Not
Right.
the guy. Nah.
Well, what are you gonna do to us? I won't tell.
We won't tell the podcast
You'll
listeners
find.
either.
I'm
gonna find out.
It'll happen.
I'll
At
wake
least
up.
expect it. Like, we're having a good time.
I was least expecting it before you mentioned it.
Well, you guys will probably forget about it. That's human nature. You forget.
I
things.
forgot so much stuff.
Oh, you'll remember this next week.
All right, so the Hashashins.
Yeah. So unlike the game where Altair like throws down a smoke bomb, then climbs up a 14-story building and swan dives into a bale of hay, and then all of a sudden people are like, "Where'd he go?" These assassins would always do their assassinations during the day and in public. Um, uh, the reason why they did that was because they went into this killing knowing full well that they were going to die and wake up balls deep in one of the 49 virgins.
Oh,
Okay.
sure.
Think of them as modern day suicide bombers before they had bombs.
Allah Akbar and the other things
Yeah.
they say in Star Wars.
So anyway, that mess is going on. That's the assassins. I thought they were really cool. Maybe I can dig up more shit on them.
That is really cool, actually.
They are pretty cool.
Yeah.
And if you play the first Assassin's Creed, like when I was reading this book, like all the names in that game are, I mean, it's like fictitious, but they're all like real people, which is
Yeah.
Of all
Weird.
the Assassin's Creed games, the first one is like the most true to actual history.
I love that one.
Because
Yeah.
like the whole it ends with a confrontation between Saladin and Richard,
Mhm.
and you like they kind of like go there, and Richard
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
just decides to leave
Yeah.
the Holy Land.
That was
yeah.
a good ass fucking game.
Yeah, first one rocked.
Yeah.
So anyway, with all this mess going on, Richard's like, "Fuck this! I married off my nephew, going back to France." Which made him look really guilty. And kings like Philip, who was already back in France, was pretty keen on spreading the rumor that Richard had murdered Conrad. It actually turns out that the leader of the assassins would send Philip a letter eventually saying that he was responsible for the killing, so completely like admitting it. But that Philip didn't want people to know that. Now, really, at this time, Richard also found out that Philip and his tight little French asshole had seduced his brother John.
Oh, Johnny boy.
Wait, really?
Yes, little
Apparently
baby boy John is
This-
now working with Philip.
Oh, he's not just having sex with him?
No, I don't think they're banging.
Oh, well,
That's
you
what you
said
meant.
seduced.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
thought it was a
maybe-
situation of like you didn't fuck my sister, so I'm gonna fuck your brother.
Yeah.
So I was thinking Travis.
Bro's like,
No,
I'm not
so-
actually gay. It's just like, well,
Oh.
look, your brother's really an asshole.
I didn't
Can,
get it.
can
Too
you
straight
please
to have
just
sex.
let me touch it? He's like, I don't know, man. Let
Let's
me drink a glass of
let's
wine and
experiment.
think
Come
about
on.
it. Let me try some cocaine for the first time and think about it.
So let's have a goofy time together.
So,
It'll be silly.
so John
It'll
and
be
Philip
silly.
now start invading Richard's territories in France. Especially Normandy. That was Philip's main goal, was Normandy, with its nice beaches. I hear
Yeah, I heard it's
very
nice. The
beaches.
beach, very nice.
Yeah. We went there once. as
Except for that
Americans.
one day.
Yeah, that one day was
Yeah,
rough.
one day,
Yeah.
fucking Hitler forgot his parking pass that one day
Yeah.
at Zone 6.
Could say it was the longest day.
It was quite the day.
Turns out it was 2 days.
Yeah.
So this was especially fucked because there was this rule, right? Like, if I go on crusade, you know what? You can't fuck with my territory. And this was a rule that like the Pope set up. Like the Pope was like, if somebody goes on a crusade, you can't fuck with their shit. They're fighting for God. And Philip had blatantly broken this rule, and on top of that, his brother John had also betrayed him.
My God.
So Richard starts heading back through southern Europe. Some say disguised as a crusader, as a Templar, and others described as a woman. I'd love to believe that he's dressed up as a woman selling little Vienna canned sausages.
Yeah, girl.
Because he gets stopped in Vienna and is captured by none other than Leopold V of Austria, the guy who he chucked the flag off of the fucking
That's
Uh-oh.
right.
I didn't know it was that guy that eventually took him prisoner.
Yep.
Oh, you don't like my flags? I see.
Don't like my flags.
I see you
will
look
put
very
you in my
pretty in
prison.
this dress, Richard. I'd like
And on
to have a dinner with you and perhaps talk about your naughty flag throwing.
On top of that, Leo was actually the cousin to this Conrad guy. So double whammy.
Had a few reasons to hate him.
Yeah. Leopold puts him in chains and hands him over to Holy Roman Emperor Henry IV. Henry IV imprisons him and holds him for ransom. Now, obviously, his brother's not going to bail him out because he's busy taking territory.
Yeah.
But good old mommy Eleanor of Aquitaine is there. He's like, I'm not going to let my little French kid starve to death in jail. He needs his croissants and escargots.
He's precious. I mean, he eats mattresses like his dad, but he's going to like the finer things at some point.
He's my best boy.
Best one. Number one.
You're my number one boy.
Eleanor starts sapping the already tapped English barons of more money. So through taxes. So Eleanor raises 100,000 pounds of silver to meet Henry's ransom.
Sheesh.
So this is the same amount that was raised by the Saladin tax and roughly 2 to 3 times the amount that people were normally taxed.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. I mean, look, you're a dirt in England, okay? What do you need all that money for? Just go outside and go fuck a sheep or something. I don't know.
It's true.
It's like, well, whatever. It's fucking
What if I want a
12th
Nash?
century England.
Tom,
I'm in the 12th century England, and who gives a fuck?
Tom, you gotta
buy a
hold your
sheep with a big ass. Now I can't do it.
Tom, you gotta hold all your sheep jokes for next week when we're gonna be talking about the Welsh.
Oh, well, you know, I was
Welsh
just
is
saying,
great.
look, that's not really like I'm not calling English the sheep fuckers or necessarily the Welsh, even though we might know otherwise.
Cheap condoms.
But what I will say is, if you live at this time period, you're basically just as good as fucking sheep.
It doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah.
You're probably fucking a sheep.
You could be in the
Yeah.
Caribbean.
Yeah.
Fucking a
They
sheep.
didn't have men's
Yeah.
accessories like fleshlights back then.
No, man, pocket pussy.
So John and Philip were like, they didn't think that Eleanor was going to be able to raise this ransom. They thought that Richard was just going to rot in jail.
Got him a
It's like-
GoFundMe.
Yeah, they're like, fuck, dude, he's going to come out of fucking jail and kick her asses. God damn it. So they offer Henry 60,000 pounds of silver to delay Richard's release for an additional year. Like, don't let him out. Don't let him out. We'll pay some extra money. Just keep him in there for a
Damn.
little
Pretty
bit.
funny, actually.
Yeah.
We'll pay you money to keep him, actually.
Mhm.
Sure, it's like babysit, but for royalty.
Now, Henry, to the Holy Roman Emperor's extent, he actually learned a little bit more about Richard and kind of respected him a little bit more. And he was just like, Eleanor paid me already, bros. Fuck your 60K. I'm letting him out. When Philip heard the news, he sent a letter to John saying, look to yourself. The devil is loose.
Oh.
It's a good line.
I feel like he missed a word or two, like look out for yourself, because that's kind of how I would read it. Look
Check
out for yourself.
yourself.
The devil, he's out there somewhere for you, looking around at you. That's how I would phrase it eloquently.
That was very well spoken, dog.
Well, I'm trying to. You know, there's a difference between these time periods. Also, I've never once thought about having sex with a sheep. This is probably all they're
Wait,
thinking about.
no. Once?
No, I can't say I have.
You
Many
ever seen
other
a sheep with a big ass. Fuck, dude. I wish I
Yeah.
had some silver to
Wah,
fucking
wah,
buy
wah.
this thing.
Yeah, no, I
I
mean, no, I'm guilty of many dirty thoughts, just never that one.
Have
Never
you
got
ever
that
seen a
one.
sheep walk? No, it's butt wiggles.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So
I got
yeah.
peanuts now.
So what's everyone's dirty secret?
Want to go do this right now?
Yeah, we're talking about fucking sheep. So let's hear it.
All right, so Richard's on his way back.
Thank you.
So, Richard comes back in a blind rage. He's out of jail. He doesn't have that fucking ankle bracelet thing on like Mike, the tracker.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's
Very
like,
itchy.
I'm about to fuck shit up, dog. He sees John. He forgives him. As a big man, he's like, I forgive you, except I'm going to strip you of all your titles and holding for an indefinite time. Turns out to be a year. But he's like, you don't have any your John at this point. We're going to get into John next week, but he was like the unofficial king of Ireland. So he's no longer the king of Ireland.
Does Ireland have anything official, or it's just who's ever there at the moment?
Whatever English bastard is raping us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get big into Ireland with John. There are kings in Ireland, but no one actually sees them as kings.
First High King of Ireland, Connor.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's his name? Is it you, or you?
No, it's just my namesake.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was just you because no one has ever claimed Ireland. You're the
You know,
first
we
one.
did all this. We did all the building. And we've got the walls going, and Dublin's going well.
Yeah.
We forgot to do the king.
We don't have a king.
We don't have a king. We never had one.
We'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, Connor, you just gotta get an Aer Lingus fucking trip over there, and fucking you'll be king.
Yeah. Gotta get my-
Name's Connor. Oh, first class for you,
king,
sir.
king.
So he strips John of all of his titles, and just to reaffirm his big dick energy in England, Richard is recrowned at Westminster Abbey in 1194. He's like, I'm king, you bitches. I might be French. I might be talking in French. King, bitchong.
Did this also unleash a wave of pogroms across the UK?
No, this time the Jewish guys were smart enough not to be like, maybe we should give him a gift. He seems like a nice guy.
They sent the gift over ahead. They didn't bring it themselves.
Let's see if he wants a certificate of Ben's Kosher Deli to get. Maybe he wants a knish or a Frankfurter sandwich.
How about a pickle? Little snapper.
So there is a massive war between Philip and Richard from the years of 1193 to 1199. For the most part, Richard was just wrecking the fucking floor with Philip.
As he had done so many lonely nights before.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know,
romantic nights, rather.
I'm sure the raping didn't stop with Richard.
Oh, yeah.
During this period, Richard forgave John and restored his titles and holdings, and John would actually join him on the battlefield. John became such a valuable asset to Richard that he said you know what, my nephew, not going to be king next. It's going to be you, Johnny boy.
Hey,
I love you. You're my little bro.
John.
Wow.
Damn,
What a redemption.
You really 180'd on me. You really showed me what you're made of, younger brother John. And now you're sure you didn't have sex with that guy, because I used to have sex with him. And that would be rude.
He has a very tight anus.
Yes. Well, you just told me as a tight A dude. You're saying you did?
How do you know?
How do you know that, young John? You really pulled a 180. Don't go back.
Some people say we are brothers. I say we are Eskimo brothers. What's an Eskimo?
Yes,
You'll
old
find
classy
out.
term. Yes, until we get to that area of the world.
Wait, is it 1200 yet? Because it would say Happy New Year.
No, we're a year away. 2 years away.
Yeah, you're away. We're not going to hit
It's
it
not 1200 yet?
this year. So ask me the question.
Oh!
How did
Oh!
it die?
1200?
No 1200. You got to wait for next week, Mike.
Okay. You got me, Travis.
Hold
You got
on,
me
we're not
hooked.
doing the question thing anymore. That's stupid and antiquated. We talked about it.
Yes, give it to me dirty, Travis.
Tell me how
All
he's
right.
dead, and don't ask me, and don't ask Connor, don't ask Mike. Ask yourself.
I've been on this show
I wanted
before.
to
I
keep
know how
Mike
it
on his
goes.
toes.
I don't have any toes, Travis. You know that.
Yeah,
you
they're
know
just
this.
squared
He's
up
got
knobbies.
hooves.
You know how I feel when you talk about that.
Mike, you just have toe. It's one
I have
toe.
one big toe on both feet.
Yeah.
It's really gross.
So in March of 1199, got a party like it's 1199, dog.
Damn, man.
Richard was in Limonin. Jeez. It looks like limousine with an IN at the end. Like limousine region of his beloved Aquitaine. He was suppressing a revolt there. And it's actually said that they may have discovered Roman gold in the region, and Richard was simply just trying to go in there and snag it for himself from the local Viscount.
Right.
Anyway, he was walking the siege line when he was shot in the shoulder by a crossbow bolt. Richard was rushed off to recover, and after the siege was successful, they found the boy that shot Richard.
Oh.
Now, Richard, while the siege was going on, he was in this tent, fully expecting to recover. But, you know, it's the Middle Ages. Some people say the Dark Ages. That's a wrong term. But let's just say his arm was the Green Ages, because it had gangrene.
Oof.
Yeah,
And he
cut that boy
was
off,
not
right?
looking too hot.
Yeah, I mean, back then when they had to cut something off, you just died
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah.
They weren't very good at amputations.
No.
I'm lining this up real quick. I'm going to get you good.
Well, it would look good, but then it would get moldy.
Yeah.
We
It'd
forgot
be
about
like,
that
so
part.
we cut off your arm because your arm had a wound on it that got
Infected.
contaminated, and now the arm that we cut off is getting contaminated.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So we made a mural of Christ on this birch wood, and we rubbed it all over you, and you have actually died before I finished explaining.
Oh, there he goes. Here's that.
Oh, he's gone.
He's it. So he's gangrenous. He's got green arm, and they bring the boy that shot him with the crossbow bolt into his tent. And the king, Richard, he asked him, he's like, why would you shoot a king? And the boy was like, yo, Richard, you killed my father, my 2 brothers. Like, of course I'm going to shoot at you.
You raped
You're
my
a
whole
dickhead."
family.
And Richard forgave the boy and told him to live on, and by my bounty behold the light of day. And he gave the boy 100 shillings and ordered his guards to set the boy free.
Damn, lucky day.
The guy tripped on the way out of the tent and was run over by a horse.
Are you shitting me? See, Tom's a fucking pulling on my strings right now. Travis,
Well-
accurate information?
Well, Richard died a few days later on April 6th, 1199 from gangrene.
Shit.
Now, Tom wasn't that far off. Richard's notorious merc captain, Mercator, not the Mercator with the globe and map making, who had accompanied Richard on crusade, had not yet released the boy that shot Richard. So he flayed the boy alive and hanged him.
Oh, that sounds brutal.
Yeah, it sounds about right, though.
Wait,
Sounds
Could you
about
imagine
right.
the whirl of emotions that kid went through? Like, wow, I just fucking shot the king of England. He's gonna die. Then the
money.
siege goes wrong, and then he's brought into the tent, and he's forgiven, given money, and
Yeah.
then he gets flayed alive,
that means skinned alive, right? Basically, you're saying
Yeah.
fillet. Oh my
Yeah.
taking the skin
God.
off.
Oh,
Skin.
fuck.
Rip your skin off, then you can.
You're still alive, by the way.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And then hanged.
And then you get
How do you live like that? How do you like sit?
in,
there?
You
in
don't.
pain. You
Here's the
live
thing.
in pain.
Oh, even his ass cheeks. You think they went the whole thing?
They probably
75%.
flayed his back.
Back. Ah,
So it's a courtesy.
fuck.
They actually leave the ass cheeks so they can sit down.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah,
flayed.
I
They
like
probably
that.
flayed his back and arms. I'm gonna guess.
I'm thinking like
maybe
leprosy,
maybe
like,
his legs,
no
maybe
skin.
his thighs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
So next week, our story continues with Richard's idiot younger brother, John, where Richard, even though he was French and committed war crimes, even in the eyes of contemporaries, he was regarded as England's favorite king. John was regarded as one of their worst kings.
All right, so it can only go downhill from here.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've been
Yep.
saying my entire life, and I'll say
And
it now.
wink, wink, we gonna see that Magnus Cartus.
Oh, yeah?
That big letter.
Yeah, that big, thick letter.
Mike, I'm assuming you know what the Magna Carta is, and you don't have to answer me now.
Yeah, I know.
Because we're
Yeah.
assuming that you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, like a fucking book or some shit.
So,
No,
what
they
are you gonna
actually
wanna
figured
do?
out in
Fuck.
in the 1200s, they invented a time machine, and they went to America, and they're like, "Wow, this is a cool constitution you guys wrote."
Oh,
They brought
Barnes
it
and
back,
Nobles.
and then they were like, "Hey, let's copy this."
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's make this a thing.
Oh,
our
now it
own.
makes
Yeah.
it's come history classes come back to me 9th grade. I learned about this shit.
Watching the Patriot.
This is before the Patriot. This is still Middle Ages. That was 10th grade, Connor.
This is the Patriot
That was
when they
temporary.
just CG put a monocle on Mel Gibson.
That's awesome. Okay, Travis, thank you very much for bringing in Richard here. King Richard Lionheart, right? We're going with
I feel
Lionheart.
fucked up.
Richie,
after-
yes, Richie,
Yeah,
yes and
it's-
no.
Richie, yes or no? Cozy, coza. Okay, we're going over Italy. We're going to be disappointed because tomatoes ain't to be seen.
Yeah, I don't want to go there yet.
My grandma doesn't have a recipe yet because she doesn't have ingredients, if you
There's
know
no
what
gravy.
I mean.
They don't have any
Yeah.
gravy.
No gravy.
Not even any
Yeah, my-
macaroni, but there's no gravy.
My gravy is fish that I left out in the sun for weeks.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
The European staple, fermented fish.
The old vodka sauce used to be much different. It was just vodka and cow
no.
milk.
It wasn't vodka because vodka's from potatoes, and they didn't
Yeah.
have potatoes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, here I am, even more wrong. Look, either way, it's just
Goddamn.
stolen garbage.
Yeah.
stolen
Anyway,
valor. I'll say that.
what I will say, thank you very much for listening, folks at home. Roast Mortem Cast, it's the best show. Remember that.
It
Tell your
is.
friends, tell your family. Go to patreon.com/roastmortemcast. Get some bonus content. Go buy shit off the merch store.
I still have yet to get a fucking hat.
Not gonna hat, Mike.
There's
God
another
damn.
hat out now, Mike.
Send,
It says
send money to
Violent
Mike's
Docking.
Venmo.
Yeah. Mike's Venmo is out. The new hat that says violent docking. I have no say on the merch, basically. It's all
History,
Travis.
Travis. What, are you docking ships in the night?
I-
What's going
Yeah,
on here?
I truly don't understand our branding, but I've also removed myself from that aspect of the show. So,
All the danky shit
with that
on the
being
false
said,
side, no.
you can buy Travis's merch through Roast Mortem.
We have another shirt that's called God Fluffer, and it's a picture of Jesus and someone's touching a ball.
What? I
Yeah,
haven't seen this one.
we'll pull it up after the show. So,
That's some
yeah.
good merchandise. I would definitely buy all of it if I had money.
Yeah.
All right. Well, join us next week as we go to King John of Robin Hood fame.
Of Crunk.
Yeah. On top of that, dog, I feel like the Robin Hood started furries.
I
Like
can
the
see
Disney
it.
Robin Hood.
Oh, the Disney, the one where he's the fox.
I can see it.
That's one of the better
Yeah.
songs of the Disney catalog.
My search engine is great from all this research.
I'm sure. I'm sure it's always pretty good. All right. Thank you, Shane, for listening.
Thank you, Shane.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night, everyone. Or good morning.
All right, Zwick, if you didn't notice, cut it
me out.
there.
Cut me out, Zwick.
Cut out everything Mike
Yeah,
said.
please.